Floss Tube, I'm Nicole and this is DDs Floss Tube, episode number 95. Watching from. Thank you for taking some time out of your day and spending it with me. Today we're here to talk about all things cross stitch because I have been stitching up a storm. I haven't worked on too many projects. I think I've worked on 3-4 projects all up this week, so that's not too bad considering I've been pretty busy in the background. If you're new here, welcome. Today's video is all about cross stitch, as I said, and while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any future posts. And for those returning viewers, welcome back. Thank you for stopping by yet again. All right, so we are in the midst of Sampler September and I have been working on some samplers, but I have been also working on a Christmas piece, which is my Stitch With Me. I've been doing a fair bit in the background, a lot that I cannot show you, so that has been taking up a lot of my stitching time, but I have been endeavouring to get at least an hour minimum on some of these pieces, and in other cases I've spent a couple of hours on them. It just depends on the given day. Now I have 3 samplers that I've had on the go, and I started a new one, and I'll get into that in just a moment, but I only worked on 2 that I had going this week because I started a new one. So yeah, but I'll start with my Stitch With Me piece, and that is the Snow Village piece that I'm doing, and I'm doing it all on one, just finding the cover. I'm doing it as one piece. I'm turning it into a cushion, and the block that we're working on this time is called a Popsicle Stand, and as I said, it is by Country Cottage Needleworks. And if you've been on our Stitch With Me, you know where we're at, but if you haven't, this is where it's at. So as you can see, we are getting a lot of stitching done on this. I am going to go out on a limb and say this will definitely be finished this week because I really don't have that much to go, and on some days I do spend a bit of time on this project. I like to spend at least 5 hours on it, 4 hours minimum. Most times I get, and that's like watching TV and talking and stuff like that. That's not intensive stitching or anything like that. I've still got some threads hanging around. Sorry about that. And can't even get them. There we go. So yeah, so we've only got the snowman to go and the snow really to go on this, and then the back stitching, and then it's done. I think I may have 1 or 2 snowflakes to go as well, but I'm hoping that this will be finished come Monday. After the Stitch With Me, I'm hoping that it'll be finished, and if it's not, I will probably spend some time on that on Monday, even though we are, like, I am doing Sampler September. It'll probably only have an hour or so to go, so I can get onto that. So that's what it's looking like, and I'm loving it, and I'm so excited that we're going to be down onto the next row. Like, I honestly didn't even think I was going to be this far for this year, because as some of you know, I lost my stitching mojo for the first half of the year, but I seem to have come back with a bit of a vengeance, and I'm really getting back into my stitching and everything, and I'm absolutely loving it. So yeah, and I'm hoping if all goes to plan and I finish that one, that means I'm going to start another one in September, and I might end up getting one finished the first week of October, because so far they're taking about 2 weeks to do. And I'm only working on it during the Stitch With Me and on the Sunday. And most times in the Stitch With Me, I'm just, now that I have sort of got a rhythm going, I sort of map it out on the Sunday and then just stitch on the Stitch With Me. All right, so the next ones that I have worked on are all samplers for Sampler September. And as I said, I've got a new start. We'll get into that in a moment. Got lots. I've got to be really careful because this is actually packed up ready to go for the weekend, because I'm actually away this weekend. So yeah. All right, the next one that I worked on, and I'll tell you, I'm slightly obsessed with this. I really want to get it done. My goal for September, and I think I touched on this last week, my goal for September is to get a page finish on all my samplers. So I had 3 on the go that I started last year for Sampler September, and I'm getting pretty close with this one to I'm just looking for my picture, to a page finish. And I've already gone over onto page 2 because the thread was really long, so I just continued on. Okay, so it is the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Sorry about the dodgy black and white picture, but I really only have this section, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but this section just here is really all I have left to do, and the top of that little bear and that little basket there's just like maybe 4 or 5 rows on those, and then that page is finished. So I've really got some good progress into this one. I worked on it twice during the week while watching some TV, and the reason why I mentioned that I'm watching TV is because that actually makes a big difference to how much I get stitched. So if I'm not watching TV, I don't tend to I don't get distracted if I put a book in, and I stitch a lot then. So yeah, it does make a big difference. All right, so this is what it is looking like right now. So I've taken it out the hoop because I need to put it in a bag because I've got to transport it. So when you seen this last, I had only done a couple of the letters. I had finished off the bear and everything. That was all done, but I had only, I think I'd done the A, B and the M. I think I might have done A, B, C, and then M and N was done. So I've got started on the words, I finished, and this was done. I finished that off, so you can see in there's a few stitches. That's done now, and I got all that lettering in. I got the stars done, and I am stitching this on Silver Ash 28 count from Sew It All Australia. An even weave, and I said that I was using the DMC colours. I'm actually using CXC colours, matching up to the numbers, and some of the Weeks Dye Works and Classic Colour Works have been changed as well. I just got on Google and put in the colour, see what the colour was, and then colour matched it as close as I could to that colour. That's pretty much the same. They're very, very similar. All right, the next one that I worked on, and I didn't work very much on this one last week, but this week I got a few hours into it, so I was pretty happy. And again, I've taken it out of the hoop because this piece of fabric, it is huge, absolutely huge. Now, I'm thinking of doing something a little bit different. Now, when you go and have a look, this is it's a Bristol sampler inspired piece. So it's not actually a Bristol sampler, even though in the Gift of Stitching, which is the magazine it came out of, it was done in red. So it's inspired by it. And there's a lot to this. It's just basically alphabets and borders. But I was looking at it the other day, and I've got to sort of map it out a little bit. I want to break up, and I'll show you why. I sort of have been thinking about breaking up some of these alphabets. So you can see here that there's no border, like there's no break in the alphabet. It just looks like a lot of words. Now I know that that's the pattern and all the rest of it, but as I'm looking at it, and I think I want to break it up a bit. So I'm thinking that I might actually add a little border in here, and then add a border in there, and wherever I think, you know, like these ones here where they all look very similar, I'll probably just keep them grouped together and then maybe break it there, and then when we get to the end of the alphabet, break it again. So what I was thinking of doing is taking inspiration from these borders here, or maybe even add a border in that I like. I've got plenty of fabric. This is 500 by 300, I think it is. Let me just have a look. It's a big piece, like it's a massive piece. Let me just find the information, which is at the back. Yeah, so it's 300 by 500 stitches on 32 count, which is what I'm stitching it on. My piece needs to be 18 and 3/4 by 31 1/4. But it actually doesn't tell me whether that's the size of the fabric that I need or whether that's the size of the chart. So I will have to sit down and work it out before I put any of these borders in. And yeah, so it says here add a further 4 inches for the borders and for framing and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm seriously contemplating if I don't break them all up. Like I know that I sort of just started gridding some out, and I'll just try and how can I cover this up? Like, they're letters, that's not going to be a big deal, but still. Okay, so, and I'm on like a second or third page or something. So see, I'll just show you. Okay, so you can see here I've just penciled that in, and that works out that border across. But see how it breaks it up? Like, it's just going to break it up a little bit because I've already put in the second alphabet. I've already started that. I sort of have to put a little one in there, but then as I'm going down, I could probably do bigger ones. So as I said, I'm still playing around with it, and I haven't really gone any further down, and I've pulled this out because I am ready to move the fabric. So last time you've seen this, let me see the piece of fabric. It's almost like a blanket. And, you know, like, I could really turn this into a blanket if I wanted to, because I could use that as my center and then have it like some fabric on the, like around it, and then, yeah, and then quilt it. All right, let me just get lost under this fabric. All right, so that's what I've done. Now, when I showed you last week, I had the A, B done, I had the N and the O, and I had started the P, and this was done. So this week I've got that C done, the Q, finished off the P, the Q, and the R. And that was about 2.5, 3 hours work in that. These letters are huge. Like, they're absolutely mammoth. Like, they're half of my fingers. And they do take a while. And then I kept thinking that I'd made a counting error between this here, and it kept distracting me, but I haven't. Because, like, the O is really close, the Q and the R are really close, but the A and B, which have similar finishes, are not. So I'm like, did I make a mistake? And I got distracted by that so many times. I kept counting it, and I haven't. Like, it's fine. And I'm doing this in purple. I'm stitching it on 32 count iced coffee from Sew It All Australia, and the color that I am using is DMC 550, which is a let me just grab that, dropped it, which is a purple color. So you can see there, the lights are getting that really good today. So that's what it looks like, and I think it's going to look absolutely amazing when it's done. But I think it just needs something to break those borders up, because it's just a lot of alphabet, and I think that, and I'll show you why in a minute. I just think it's going to make a big difference to the overall finished piece. All right, so that is my 2 whips that I worked on, and my Christmas one for the ones that I already had going. So I had a new start, and this is in honor of, and I'm stitching this for the 12 days of, or 10 days of mourning, 12 days, 11 days of mourning that it is for the Queen. And I got this from Hands Across the Sea, and it is Annie Bayliss from 1887, and it's God Save the Queen. And it's a small sampler. It's not a very big one. This is, do I have the colour one? Hang on, I'll just see if I've got the colour sheet, because my printer went a bit mental and just started printing stuff out. After me spending, I think it was like 4 hours trying to get my printer and my computer to talk. They wouldn't talk. So this is what it's going to look like. Okay, but see how the borders are, like, it breaks up the alphabet. So this is a Bristol sampler, and they're always done in red. Okay, and so I really like how, like, the borders break up the alphabet, and that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do on the other one. So as I said, this is Annie Bayliss, 1887, and it's called God Save the Queen. And so I'm stitching on this a minimum of an hour a day to commemorate, and, you know, just for the period of mourning and just doing my thing. It's just something I wanted to do, and yeah, and that's what I'm doing. So this is stitched over 2, and it also has 2 over 1. So I have made a really good start on this. So I'm just going to grab something to put behind it, because I'm stitching on 32 count. And it looks a bit wonky because it's in the hoop and I just stretched it. I'm stitching this on 32 count, the colorway linen, and I can't remember what type of linen it is, but I got it from Sew It All Australia, and it's sand is the color, which is pretty close. Like it's pretty close to that fabric there. So that's what I've done so far. So the border is over 2, and then this border here, and I'll try and get as close as I can and get it to focus. Is it going to focus? All right, I've locked that focus now. That is over 1. It's 2 over 1 with a space in between it. Okay, and it also is the same up here as well. So there. It is very tactile, like it feels really good too. And then this little border here is, this little zigzag border is also over 1 as well. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. This here, and like it looks like I've made a mistake and all the rest of it, but I haven't. I've got it on good authority that I haven't made a mistake. And I also asked before I started it, because you know we don't want to have any situations where I do it all wrong, but that's how wide it is, so it's not a very big piece, depending how far I get, because we've still got until the, what are we at, we've still got a couple more days before the funeral, and then I'll stitch for it a day after the funeral. Just take that autofocus, there we go. And then yeah, so I want to stitch on this a bit more, and so as I said, I'm stitching on it for an hour a day minimum. Sometimes I stitch a little bit longer, but I've been doing about an hour. I have made a couple of counting errors, but I've frogged them out, and I'm telling you now, whew, 2 over 1 on 32 count to try and get out. Not an easy feat, but I got it out nonetheless. But yeah, I'm really enjoying stitching on it. It's just, there's just something so rhythmic about it as well, because it's just one color and you're just stitching out the alphabet, and that border's pretty cute too. But that's not too bad. I started this, what day did I start this? Friday of last week. So I started that, and yeah. So my secret stitching and all the rest of it, I have actually done about 4 or 5 hours on that. I've just written down here what I've done it. Yeah, so I've done about 4 or 5 hours on my secret stitching for the upcoming magazine, so that always takes a little bit of time as well. But that is everything that I've worked on. I do have some haul, and it's a little bit different. I went to a swap meet last week with my husband, last Saturday I think it was, and like they're usually just car ones. So I went to the swap meet with my husband last week. I completely forgot about it, and I had organised to do a slow stitching Saturday and everything, and I had to cancel that video. But anyway, I went to the swap meet. I was not expecting to find anything there for me, because it was around cars. It was a car show, but there was a few little stalls there that had little knickknacks and stuff, as well as car parts and whatnot. So that was good. It was almost like a bit of a, it wasn't a flea market. It was, they call it a car swap, but essentially it's just like a huge market. So anyway, lately I've been thinking about some of my finishes and how I want to do them and whatnot. And I've been looking on the internet and stuff like that, and just getting ideas here and there and whatnot. So I've seen this little tin. Now I don't know what sort of tin, like it's not a tin, it's quite heavy. It's very tarnished. Okay, but it looks like what, it's not a pill box, but it looks like a little box that might have been, you know, sitting beside your bed, may have had your earrings in it or something like that, or you might put your rings in or something like that. Now that's the inside. I can't find any stamps on it or anything like that. It's very shiny. And like it's very shiny at the front here too. The top looks very tarnished. But what I was thinking of doing was actually turning it into a little pin cushion. So, yeah, so I'm going to get a silver cloth and see. I'm going down the coast, as I said, on the weekend, or down to Brisbane. So I'm going to get a silver cloth while I'm down there and see if I can't polish this up. I mean, even if I can't polish it up, just, it's still, like, I like it. I love little boxes, and especially little trinket boxes. I paid $5 for this, and so I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to create, I'm going to get some velvet, and I don't think I have one out here. I've got to get some velvet, and I'm just going to turn it into a little, I'm not going to make a cross stitch or anything like that to put in it, but I'm just going to get a piece of velvet and make a rectangle pin cushion, and then that way I can just have some pins in there or needles or something like that, like all my petites or something like that, and that can just sit where next to my stitchy area. So I thought that was super cute. Nice little, I might end up doing a cross stitch in it, I don't know yet, we'll see how we go. The next thing that I've been looking for, I've seen on Etsy, there's a seller over in Italy, and they make wooden products. So they do, like, they make wooden spools, and they have, and for the life of me, I cannot think of them. I'll have to, I'll try and find them again. And but I've seen them a couple of months ago, and they have these little wooden scissor holders, and they've got holes in them. They look like a frog. Anyway, I'm walking around the swap meet, and I come across this. So I thought, well, that's perfect. My scissors can sit in there, and there's many different holes, so I can sit all my and this looks like it's got little grooves in it. I'd say it would have been something from a dinner set or something like that for the centerpiece of the table. So I thought, sweet, I'll grab that. That cost me $5. So I was happy with that. Then just before I left, I was walking past another stall, and the wind had picked up, and the lady was holding onto her thing for grim life. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's going to blow away on her. She had all these clothes hanging on there and all the rest of it. And I just happened to spot, as I went to turn away, I spotted this dish. I paid $8 for this, and it's crystal. Hear the difference? That's crystal. So when you hit crystal, it and you're not holding it, it has that ring to it. Okay, so I found that, and I thought that would be perfect for a pin cushion. I can do a cross stitch, you know, because I've made one, I don't know where it is, I think it's inside. I made one with heartstring samplers queen bee pin cushion, and I put it into a wooden bowl, and I really liked it, and I like glassware and stuff like that, and I thought this would be a good one that I could make with a cross stitch as a finish and whatnot. But then this fits on it perfectly. I know it's not the same, but it fits on it perfectly. So I don't know now. I don't know whether to just have this piece sitting there with all my scissors in it, or whether I should turn it into because I can do a lower pin cushion. I don't necessarily have to have it mounted. I can do a flat pin cushion, and then this could still go on there. But I'm just like, these scissors are a bit long, but I would be a bit concerned that the scissors might stab it. So I can either do it with a cross stitch, or I can do it with the felt, and then it's not going to matter if the scissors poke into it, and I can have a little pin cushion with my little scissor holder on top. And yeah, so if anybody is looking for these, I still haven't listed them up. I've been pretty slack with the website, and I'm rectifying that. I've got everything out and ready to take photos, and of course it's overcast, so I can't take any photos. But yeah, I scored, and that I got for $8, that base, and it sits there perfectly. Like, even Brendan goes, he goes, that's a score, like, because it does, it looks quite nice just sitting there, and to have all my different, I've got a couple of pairs of scissors coming that are different than these ones, and they look a little bit vintagey, and so I thought it'd be nice to have them sitting in there, and all out of the way where they can't get damaged or anything like that. And yeah, but what do you think? Should I do a cross stitch one, or should I just do a velvet pin cushion and have this sitting on top? Leave me a comment down below and tell me which way you think I should go. I think this would look lovely with a cross stitch pin cushion in it, but the thing is, you can get heaps of this sort of stuff from, like, you can find them anywhere. I got this one at the beginning of the year. I paid $10 for this one, and this one I'm definitely going to be turning into a pin cushion. I've just got to clean this up. This is a brass on here, so I've just got to get a brass cloth to clean it, and I'm just going to put get engraved on there, probably reed, and then yeah, but this again is just something that sits in here, and I can have that as a little pin cushion. So yeah, leave me a comment down below, tell me what you think, what I should, that's another crystal bowl, you can hear it, what I should do with that. Should I just have it with the scissors on it and have a velvet pin cushion, or should I do a cross stitch design and put it in there? So I'll leave that there because I'm not dropping it. I don't know, I was pretty happy with my little finds. Like, Brendan goes, God, you buy some shit. That's what he says. They were his exact words. Do you post some shit? And I'm like, yes, I do. But you know what? Hey, I know what I'm going to do with these. And so, yeah. So, but as I said, I'm torn now. Do I just leave it like this? I could put some pottery colour. I could also put coloured stones in the bottom of that as well. I could do many things with the bottom, but I think making it useful, like a pin cushion or something like that, would be really good. Leave me, as I said, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. And I got some stitchy goodness in the mail. So Gail, I haven't had a chance to say, hey, it's turned up before this filming. So, hey, it's turned up. Thank you very much for sending it up to me. But I got this. I won this from Gail. So, yeah, she was having a giveaway a couple of weeks ago, and I got it off there. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to starting this one. I really like it. It's different. I just really like it. I don't know why. It's so different to, not really. I do like, I guess, like I know in my quilting, like with bindings and stuff like that, I do like geometrical shapes and all that sort of stuff. So that's why this appeals to me. But that's it for me today, like short and sweet today. I'm going to, so my plans for the week is to continue stitching on God Save the Queen and see how much I can get done. I may even endeavour to try and get that done by the end of the month because, as I said, it is not a big piece at all. I don't know how I'll go because I've got a lot of magazine stitching. And I'm just going to continue working on my samplers, and I have pulled out cinnamon stars because that seems to be calling to me at the moment. And I'm also making my plans for DDs Spooktober, so you'll see this image popping up on Instagram as of next week for DDs Spooktober. I have pulled out so far, I've pulled out the Halloween quilt by Curio E. Curie, and I've pulled out Halloween Quaker, which is going to be my stitch with me, and I'm going to do that as an extra stitch because I still want to stitch on my Christmas one. So I'm thinking on the Thursday, instead of crafting with DDs, it will be an extra stitch with me for the month of October. And then I also pulled out Lady Halloween, which I was doing with, is it Laura from Stitching by the Shore and Gail Phillips. Gail Phillips has finished hers, and yeah, I haven't stitched on it since I started it, so I'd like to get a lot more stitching in that. So they are going to be my 3 focus pieces, and they're really big pieces, and then I'll throw in some small ones as well. I'm not going to be working on all of them, which I could if I wanted to, but I just want to focus on Halloween Quaker because that is so close to a finish, and I'm going to be stitching on that every single day, including my Stitch With Me's, because I want to get it done this year because I've had it going for 2-3 years now. This will be the 3rd year. And the other ones, well, I started them last year, the year before when I done 31 new starts. So there's a few in there that I need to get done. And they're medium-sized pieces, small to medium. So if I start really concentrating on them, I'll get them done. But yeah, keep an eye out for that, and start pulling out your Halloween stuff. Think about what you're going to do, and join DDs for DDs Spooktober. I love seeing all the Halloween stuff. But that is it from me today. Like always, don't forget to subscribe and share. Especially if you're new here, make sure that you subscribe, and then that way you're not going to miss out on any future posts. And as I said, that's it from me today. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Hope you get lots of stitching in, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye now.